Hi, this is Lisa Moody. I'm from Texas. I'm a PA here in Texas and wanted just to talk to you about two forms of hair loss. So the first one is, let's say a patient comes in and they're having problems with their hair. Then what I would look for first is to determine whether it's scarring versus non-scarring. So scarring just means that there's been a loss of hair follicles totally, and then non-scarring means that there's still hair follicles present, they're just very small. So to determine for sure that what's going on, I would do a biopsy, and what a biopsy consists of is we numb up the skin. I do like a little cookie cutter. It's about 4 millimeters in diameter, and then we send that to the lab, and then they tell us what kind of hair loss that they have. If there is a loss of hair follicles and there's fibrosis around those hair follicles, then it's scarring, and more than likely that's an autoimmune process, or like in planopolaris, which are kind of, they're all really inflammatory. So on the other side of the coin, let's say that someone comes back and the biopsy shows me androgenic alopecia. That's the non-scarring form of hair loss. There's telogen effluvium and there's androgenic alopecia, which telogen effluvium is one of those sort of things that happens. Let's say you have surgery, like 3 months later, your hair will come out. Let's say that you had a death in the family, a loss of a job, change in job, anything like that, then you would have a telogen effluvium bout, which those hairs tend to come out, but then they come back. So it's an easy kind of form to make better. If you have androgenic hair loss, then that really is a genetic condition that is treatable, but it's kind of a more difficult thing to treat. When you think of androgenic alopecia, you think of male pattern baldness, which is a form of androgenic alopecia, and you have female pattern baldness, which is kind of an all over instead of just on the top of the scalp. Females can have male pattern also, but a lot of times they have female pattern, which is kind of all over. The causes of this are, it's genetic. Your body becomes sensitive, or your hair follicles become sensitive to a hormone that's in our body called DHT, and that hormone makes our hair follicles miniaturize, so they get smaller and smaller and smaller until they quit growing. And if you can get that hair follicle when it's still growing, then you can make it, reverse it, and get it thicker again to where you've got hair. So let's say that you're a 45-year-old female and you're having problems with androgenic hair loss. Let's say when you were 20, your hair was pretty thick, so you can still have the same number of hairs, but if that DHT in your genetics has made them miniaturize over time, then you still have the same number of hairs. They're just, each one is individually smaller. So you may have half the hair that you did, but have the same number of hair follicles. So I'm hoping that this will help you to decide what type of hair loss that you have, and there's going to be other videos coming that tells you ways to treat it. Okay, y'all have a good day. See you later. Bye from Texas.